Hello everybody, I am here for a continuation of my gratitude journal. And this is what it looks like right now. I put a piece of tape down, X marks the spot, so don't go below this, because I was kind of out of frame in some of the video. This is what it looks like so far. You notice that I said don't avoid the fold, but the paper tore, came apart, which is not a big deal, so don't avoid the fold. This one didn't. This one didn't. And that one did. Okay, so what I'm going to do today is work on pushing back some of this color, the bright color. And I have a little container of gesso, and that's what I'm going to use. Some of what I'm going to use to push it back. And I have a chip brush, which will give some texture to the paint, to the gesso. Okay, so here we go. I don't want to take away all the color. I just want to knock some of it back. I like this green here. And I'm going to try not to stick the pages together. Let's see, let's put a little bit right there. This deli paper I need to stick down. I'll do that on the way back. Don't want to stick my pages together. I'm down to the last two pages. You can go over the edges. Well, now I got two more. Excuse me. Okay, I'm gonna put the top back on that gesso. I think I'm finished with it for now. And I'm gonna have to dry it. As soon as I find my key tool. I got it buried under some stuff. Okay, let's get some of this dry. Shouldn't take too long. Turn this light on. It doesn't have to be totally dry for what I'm going to do next. Okay, now I want to do some stamping. And I've got my script. I don't know what language it is, but anyway, it's a script stamp that I've had for a long time, but you can find scripts on Amazon. I'm not going to use the whole stamp. I'm just going to use bits and pieces of it. Let me get back over here. It's subtle, but it gives, I think it gives it a good look, nice look. Let me turn the stamp around and get the other side. And I think I'm going to do some circles, stamp with a circle stamp too. I've got a giant block here, which is a good bit of overkill. And I don't want it real dark. So I'm not putting, I'm not trying to put a bunch of ink on it. And I do have a bunch of circle stamps, and I could have used different ones, but I'm just going to use this one. It's a good habit to get into stamping off so you get a half a circle, and I really didn't do that before on any of the other pages, so let's go back and do some of that. Oops. Okay, so I think it's good. Now, when I go off camera, I may do some stitching. And for those of you who do not have a sewing machine, or you don't want to use your sewing machine, there are these sewing stencils, stamps that you can use. So I'm going to, in this case, I'm going to go this way with the ink. And I'm going to just do a bit of what looks like sewing. Oh, get back up here. I think my Titan Bug paint is in the way, so maybe I'll do a better job of staying in. And since I'm going to do some actual sewing, I'm not going to do a whole bunch of this, just so to show you that you can get the same sort of look. What you don't get are the threads, the hanging off, which I like. And I don't know if you like it or not, but I do. Okay, then the other stamp that I've got is another one that I'm not going to use the whole stamp. It's got circles and chevron and squares, different things. So I'm just going to kind of do that a few times. and turn it around to the squares and do that. So we're beginning to you know, start looking like a kind of a coordinated, conducive, whatever, that it's all tied together. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, now I didn't do any of the chevrons, so let's go back and do a little bit of that. Okay, so let's put the top back on that. I think I'm finished with that. Get the stamp out of the way. All right, so here we are. This is where we are so far. Now what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna take a stencil. Where are my stencils? I pulled out some that I wanted to use. These are the ones that I thought I would use. This is from Joggles. I think this is, I believe, from Amazon. And I believe I got this one off of Amazon too, but I can check that if you're interested in them. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the Titan Buff. This is Golden's Titan Buff, but you can use any Titan Buff. This is heavy body. And it's very heavy body and been used in a while. And I've got a makeup sponge, and I'm just gonna go through here and oh, it's paper. Let me see if I can get some of that paint out. This is my stick that I use for drawing sometimes. Just put it in here. Okay, now, like I said, this hadn't been used in a while. It looks like it's very heavy body. And you don't want a lot of paint on your makeup sponge. That's the secret to doing, you know, to stamping on, to putting paint through stencils. Don't load up your makeup sponge or whatever it is that you're using. Let's see how that looks. I did have some seepage over there, so don't do what I did. Let's move down a little bit. You can tape these down, but it just takes too long. All I'm trying to do is to add layers to this background. Eventually, we're going to start doing something on the pages, individual pages, for the gratitude. Let's see. I'll use this one. I don't know if you love circles as much as I do, but I really love doing them. I'm not sure that's going to show up at all. It shows up a little bit, but not much. Let's try something else. the top on this. I'm going to take a blending tool and the sponge that I have attached on the back of my little ink pad, and I'm going to just take, if this is coffee, it's the name of the I didn't feel much either. So I get more on the that's a little bit. Well, there's no rhyme or reason about where I'm putting this. I'm just wherever I kind of think it needs a little something, something. It's all about the layers. And it's, you know, someone who's thumbing through this book will say, how did you do that? All about the layers. Let's see if I need anything else. I'm going to take this one off. Okay, I think that's what I want. Now I'm going to take a number 2 pencil. Let me put this back on the ink pad. I'm going to take a number 2 pencil and I'm just going to go through making marks all the way through the book, continuing the lines from one page to the other. All right, let's see what else I want to do maybe. I've got some masking tape here. And I think I'm going to put a bit of masking tape on it in places. I've got 2 different ones. I have this manila sort of color that normal masking tape. And then I have, which has some white paint on it, I have a craft one, and obviously one's bigger than the other. So I'm going to do something with this one, I think. I'm just going to tear off small pieces of it. And on this one, I am going to avoid the fold because it may not stick well if it goes across the fold. Let me know in the comments if you are making this along with me, or if you're just watching it, if you're enjoying the process. Like I said, I am avoiding this fold. Let's put a little bit of the craft on here. I'm just going to tear it this way so it's not so wide. Appearance is not so wide. It is wide, but the other thing I want to do is to add some watercolor. And I have my watercolors out. And I'm kind of sticking with these two colors. I need to spritz them to get them activated. And I'm not going to have the exact colors, but hopefully I'll have something that will coordinate with it. And I've got this little cheap brush. You know, just as a matter of information. It's got fuzz on it. It's my opinion, and I think you'll find some people that will agree with me, that the most important thing in your watercolor journey is to choose good paper. You can use, like I said, cheap brush. You can use Crayola watercolors and get a relatively good result. But using cheap paper, you're not going to get what you want. You're going to get paper that lifts, good 100% cotton watercolor paper. That's what you want. And the paper that I'm using for this is that. Over there too full. Okay, so that's got green. Let me rinse that off and see what I've got that's even remotely close. I don't want to go real bright again. Let me see how that looks. Too much. I've got this little puddle of paint here. Maybe if I add something to it, some orange to it, I'll get something that resembles this color. But that's what what I would invest in to start with is really good paper. And then your watercolor and your brushes are kind of equal in my choices anyway, what I would choose in an investment. And it is an investment. Any of the watercolor or acrylic, it's an investment. You spend a fair amount of money, but the thing about it is, with watercolor, it's going to last a long time. And your brushes, if you take care of them, are going to last a long time. You don't want to leave your brushes down in your water like this. You want to rinse them off and then prop them up, or lay them down flat. I have this little ceramic thing that you can rest your brushes on while you're working. But then when you're through with them, don't leave them in the water. And that's true of all your brushes. Your acrylic brushes, your oil brushes, your watercolor brushes, all of them. They don't need to be left in water, and they don't need to be left with their brush bristles down at the bottom of the water. Not even while you're working with them. Keep it out of, just don't let them rest in your cup of water. Okay, let's see. I think this is what I hope to get done today. And like I said, I think I'm going to add some stitching. And if you get to this point and you're crafting along with me, this is the time when you would do some stitching. And keep in mind, whatever we sew is going to show on the back. So, and we don't have any paper down, which is not a big deal, because we can put paper over top of them, or put it in a different place or whatever. So I'm gonna close out for today. It's very early for me. It's 8 o'clock, but I've been up since 6. I took a shower and did all that fun stuff. Okay, so thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing your creations if you're crafting along with me. And I am on Instagram, and I will put in my in the description the location of my Instagram account. And I hope you'll come and look for me there. And I'm also on Facebook. So, but thank you for joining me this morning, or for you afternoon, or whatever your time of day. Be blessed in the Lord. Thank you.